So glad you're here. We got big smiles. I'm Kiersten.
Hello, I'm Carli. We're so excited to be with y'all today.
So we are just going to jump right into a healthier, happier hour individual coaching session. And we are so honored and grateful that Katie said, okay, ladies, I will join you on this episode. And so we're going right for it. We're going to pick up with a little coaching. But before we do, we have a tradition. And I want to ask you, Katie, if you have a cheers or tears, and this could be anything health related, happiness related, anything in between that you would like to share with us since our last session. So that gives you some time.
Okay.
It can be big. What do you say? A cheers or tears? What do you think?
Oh, a cheers.
Okay, let's hear
Almost
it.
always a cheers. Yeah.
Let's hear it. What is it? What's your cheers?
Well, I would say, do I get my water now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I would say cheers to the opportunity to watch my grandsons every week.
Yay!
I love them and I love that I get to do that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so special.
Cheers.
Major cheers.
Yeah. And your kids are cheering too, cheersing about that too.
Yes, they are.
Carli
Yes.
and I can attest to that.
Yes, yeah. And we're so excited. We love hearing cheers. And that's what this time is all about, is celebrating your cheers and the moments that are making your life worthwhile, and also recognizing that there are challenges that come alongside of even those cheers, right? Like,
Yes.
in the midst of the excitement of that, there's probably some moments that maybe there are literal tears.
Probably.
Babies from you. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're not judging, maybe a combination. But in the midst of all of those things, our goal here at Healthier, Happier Hour is to come alongside of you, to come alongside of everyone that we coach and work with and that is listening to our show, to really just be there and to help you do a couple things, to help you feel better and get healthy, to help you connect in your relationships. And as you're doing those things, to enjoy your life. So those are kind of the three things we're about: feeling better, getting healthy, connecting your relationships, and enjoying your life. Those are kind of our main points that we are hitting home every single week on our show and in our coaching. And so this is what we're aiming to do today, even in our coaching session, and what we want you to feel like you're leaving today with a nugget, with a takeaway, with some actionable steps, and like you can leave our time just feeling good and like you have some steps to take towards one or maybe all three of those areas of your life. And so as we're kind of thinking through and cheering for you as you're getting that time with your grandsons and with your family, as we're diving into this session today, which of those three kind of areas might feel like the best way for us to use our time today? Would it be kind of looking into the feeling better, getting healthy sort of sphere, which is one area that we spend some time? Would it be the connecting in your relationship sphere? Or would it be the area of sort of enjoying your life? Is there one specific pathway or one area for you, Katie, that feels like this is the area that I'm being challenged in or that I'm struggling with? This is kind of where I want to spend my time today. What would be most helpful or supportive for you? Or maybe there's a specific question or topic, that's been on your heart, on your mind, that you're coming into today thinking like, this is the thing I want to spend my time on, which is totally okay too. So kind of starting us fresh out the gate with a heavy question, but what do you need today?
Well, I think what I would like to talk about mostly is related to the second topic, which is basically connecting more in my relationships. I can't remember if I told you this the last time we talked, but every year I try to have a word for the year. And this year's word is vulnerability. And I really feel like the best way for me to connect with other people, and for them to connect with me, is for me to be vulnerable. I have no problem with somebody else being vulnerable with me. I'm a secret keeper. If somebody says, please, I want to talk to you about this, but I don't want you to tell anybody, I don't tell anybody. I keep it to myself. So I'm very good at keeping confidences. But I don't feel like I necessarily trust that everybody that I talk to will have the same level of confidence keeping. So as a result, there are times when I would like to be more vulnerable, but, and share feelings about things that are happening in my life or whatever, but I don't necessarily, it depends on who it is. And I think that actually it's good boundary. I mean, you don't want to be sharing with someone that you can't trust or that will take your information and use it in a negative way. But just about being vulnerable and how that can help me deepen my relationships and feel more connected. That's what I'd like to talk about.
Yeah, no, I love that.
I want Carli to jump in, but I want to do a cheers for you because as you were talking, I was like, saying yes to us was a way of putting yourself out there, being vulnerable, being brave.
Yes.
So cheers to that with
cheers.
water. It's like a coffee mug that I have water in. That's how lame I am. But it helps. The container you're drinking the water from sometimes helps people drink more water. So there we go.
True.
Take it when you can.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to start by acknowledging and cheersing you for that. And let's dive in, Carli. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, that's so good. And I love that you came and you already knew, like, it was no question, even just being bold enough to say, like, first of all, being here, saying yes to us. Second of all, sharing what was on your heart, because it could have been easy to just show up still and not say the thing that you really wanted to talk about, which even sharing, like, this is the thing I want to talk about, is another layer of vulnerability. So there's multiple ways here that you're already doing the thing you said you wanted to do. So I hope that you own that and recognize that, like Kiersten said, because that's huge. So yeah, I'm curious. I have a couple questions. What does vulnerability really mean to you? Like, I know you said it's easy and you love to be on kind of the receiving end of it with other people. What do you feel when you're on the receiving end of that? When someone is vulnerable with you, how does that make you feel? What's that experience like for you?
Well, generally speaking, I would say that I feel honored that somebody would be willing to share certain things with me that are, maybe sensitive or embarrassing or that are causing an issue in their lives. I mean, I would certainly feel honored that somebody would want to share that with me. And I automatically feel closer to people who are like that, who are willing to be vulnerable themselves and to put themselves out there. So I guess to summarize, I would say that it would be feeling honored that somebody would be willing to be vulnerable with me. And then I forget what my second point was.
You automatically feel closer to them.
Oh, I automatically, yes, I feel that connection. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, that's what you said. Perfect. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Feels good. And yeah, you feel probably, even I love that word honor because it holds so much importance and value. It's, like they've chosen you to be the person,
Yes.
You're of high importance and high value and high significance in their life, like
Yes.
you hold a place of honor in their life for them to be able to share that. So that's really special. And that they trust you and that you mean something to them. So if you flip that around, what's the experience for you like when you are put in a position where maybe you've been challenged to be vulnerable what are you feeling when you're the one who is in the, I don't want to say hot seat because that makes it feel maybe like pressure, but when you're the one who's like, I feel this like desire, this itch, I want to share something, but it feels a little scary because it's vulnerable, even though I trust this person. What are you experiencing when you're the woman who has the opportunity to be vulnerable?
Yeah. Well, I think it depends on the person that I'm talking with. I'll use an example of my sister Maggie. I feel like I could say anything to her and it won't be repeated. I won't be judged. I won't feel badly for having said it. I won't regret my decision to share with her, which for me is critical. But then I think of other people who in the past I've shared with that have not kept my confidence, and I've been hurt by that. So I think it really does depend on the person that I'm talking with and the level of trust that I have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So kind of teetering between, can I trust this person? Is it worth it to me to put myself out there? Is kind of like the question that you're sort of weighing in that decision. Like, can I trust them? Is it worth the risk almost? And in your case, you're saying a lot of it depends upon who it is that you're sharing it with, and maybe what information you're sharing too.
Right. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you're in a position, let's say it's somebody like your sister, Maggie, who I've met and who is wonderful. And I love that she's in your life and you have such a close confidant to be able to share these special things. So let's assume it's Maggie or someone just like her that you could share something with. And you're feeling that nudge of like, I really want to be able to share this thing that's on my mind or on my heart, and it's going to be up to you to like take that initial step, like to initiate the thing, the conversation, whatever it is. What is it that might hold you back? Like what would make it worth it to you versus what would make it not worth it to you? Because we're constantly sort of weighing, right? Like, is this worth the risk? Is it not worth the risk? This is my goal, right? Your goal, is to move towards vulnerability, which you said earlier is going to help you feel more connected and, honor those relationships. You feel honored and grow and deepen those relationships. So in that moment of having an opportunity to be vulnerable or to connect more deeply, what would be the little thing that would nudge you forward in that conversation or in a moment of choice where you have the opportunity to choose or not to choose?
I guess in the one thing that comes to mind would be past experience. I think about my past experience with Maggie and how we've shared and connected, and I would know as a result of that I could share with her, and again not feel badly about having done that. The other thing, this just entered my head too, but I don't know how relevant it is, but I will say also sometimes, when you want to share something with somebody that is going to be a little bit of a burden to them, I want to be mindful of whoever that person is. Can they handle what I'm about to tell them? No, I mean, not that there's like horrible things going on, but there are certain things that have happened in my life that I don't necessarily think are things that everybody would want to know or would be able to handle, because they would feel so badly for me. I don't want to necessarily put a burden on them that they're not able to handle. Yeah. And without going into detail with specifics, just there are certain things that have happened or decisions that I've made that I haven't been pleased with myself about, and that has it could have them feeling badly, that maybe they weren't there at the time to support me or whatever the case may be.
So it's out of protection in a lot of ways.
Yes.
For the person you care for.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And that can, go ahead, Kiersten.
I had two visuals come up that I'm wondering if it may be helpful to think about in this way, because I'm hearing you being wise with not just putting your trust blindly in someone that has maybe broken your trust. And so I'm hearing like Maggie, like the visuals I'm thinking of is like, what you choose to water, where you choose to invest. Right. And so that's one visual I'm thinking of like people like Maggie in your life, and they don't have to be exactly like that, but like build, investing some water into the friendship, investing time and energy into the friendship, and trusting yourself of being able to make those calls and be wise is one kind of thing I am thinking about, and like thinking about asking yourself questions like, who else would I like to invest and deepen? You said earlier, deepen relationships. And Carli and I talk a lot in that way of deepening relationships as the one really, really great way for your health or your happiness is to have deep relationships. So that's one visual. Like, where am I putting my investment? Where am I putting my water? You don't have to be like all or none. I'll let Carli speak later to like the maybe taking on too much, not letting them make the call. I don't know, with your vulnerability, like, especially if it's an adult and it's a safe person, like sometimes I'm thinking in my cases, it's like oftentimes where I'm like, that's not my job. That's their job to choose. As long as I'm asking, it's not like I'm blowing at us like, can I talk to you about this? And then it's oftentimes I do the same thing as you. I'm like thinking ahead, like if this is going to burden them, if this is going to be too much for them, if this is asking them to do one thing for me or something like that. And I can just ask them and wait and be a safe person to respond with. So also I still have one more visual. If it comes up later, it comes up, but does anything hit home with that, or what comes up for you?
Absolutely, it does. I just started a Bible study called Conquering Codependency.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I am trying to work on is not being responsible for somebody else's feelings and somebody else's happiness. I mean, it's one thing, if you do something to hurt somebody, yes, you're going to be responsible for your feelings. But if something happens and that person gets angry or irritated, it's not my job to try to fix that. And I know that it's not my job, but it's my nature, and I've been doing that my whole life, and I'm getting a little bit of a late start on trying to fix that, but I'm going to fix it because I'm going to get the tools to do that.
Okay.
But that's absolutely the whole thing about being responsible for somebody else's feelings is key.
It's huge. And like, what's my job in this? And so the other visual fits perfectly for this example too. So I'm going to give it to you. I would never, as a personal trainer, first personal training appointment with someone, don't know what their baseline is. All of a sudden, hand them a bar and put 400 pounds on the bar and ask them to do a squat. Never. So two things on that. Back when you were talking before of like building trust incrementally, awesome. That's the way to do it, incremental. And so then you're not just like throwing all the weight on a bar, not knowing if someone has been training in the relationship with you. or not. And then,
Yeah.
and I'm so proud of you and amazed and cheersing and that you are taking action and conquering codependency and choosing that you're going to make different choices. And I want to encourage you, you mentioned your age as like a limiting belief, right? And it's yes and no. Like we think about you've been doing something for a long time a certain way. So it makes sense that it would take some time and some repetitions back to that squat bar. It takes some repetitions to change a pattern. So every time you even notice yourself, like this has been key for me, something that's like your nature, you said, like, oh my goodness, do I feel that in every bone of my body?
Yeah.
And so even when you notice yourself being codependent or taking on someone else's things that are theirs to hold and have, even if you notice it, consider that a win for yourself and just remember that those repetitions.
Yeah.
So I'm just amazed by you. Those are really cool things. You're doing awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
You are. And I think in all of that, something that even could be helpful is thinking about, you said at the very beginning of this, like, what was your goal or your hope for the year, right? And it was to deepen the connections of your existing relationships, to feel, more connected, to just feel more engaged with the people in your life in different ways, and to be more vulnerable. And that's a key element of those relationships. And I just keep thinking about that word honor that you said, and how you felt when you were on the receiving end of someone else's vulnerability. And I'm wondering, have there been situations, and you can, answer this if you want, or just think about it, but have there been situations you've been in where maybe you've been burdened by something someone else has shared with you where it was hard to hear?
Yes, which I think is probably why I am cognizant of that when I would be sharing something that I think might be hard for somebody else to hear.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Now, having said that, it's not that it's not that I'm sorry that I know the information or that person shared that with me. I'm just sorry for them that they had to, live that or suffer through whatever it was that they mentioned.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think what you just said is so significant, because you just mentioned so many things. I don't even know if you caught it, but you said, I'm not sorry that I know. Basically, like, I'm not sorry they told me.
Yes.
You couldn't have changed it. You're just sorry that it happened to them. But no matter what, it already happened to them.
Yeah.
Just like no matter what in your life you share, it's already done and over with. Right.
Right.
So it's more a matter of, it comes back to that question, like, what's the benefit of vulnerability in this, we take it case by case in this conversation, in this situation that I want to share, this experience that's on my heart to share with this person. What's the benefit of this to our relationship? What's the risk? Is it going to be worth it in the end? What good can come of it? Sure, there might be, and you might decide either way, there might be some cost to it. Like, it's hard in these ways, but there might be a lot of healing and good that happen in these ways. And does the healing and good and the connection, the depth outweigh this temporary discomfort or this temporary like pain or, feeling of burdensome? Because those feelings that are temporary, could keep us from being vulnerable in any situation for the rest of our lives. Those could hold us back in every conversation, in every situation, forever, right? And so you would just end up building up these little walls forever and ever. So I think bringing it back full circle to, what you said at the very beginning of what's your goal, like being vulnerable and keeping that somehow at the forefront of your mind, at the forefront of your conversations of, you know, what do I want to feel in these relationships? You said, I want to feel connected. I want to feel like depth. I want to feel engaged. I want to feel honored. And like Kiersten said earlier, you know, you don't want to take away their choice either. You know, you can trust yourself. You have good instincts and good guts and good like feelings, good intuition. And you can trust yourself to know when this is right, when it's not right, when it feels good to you.
Yep.
And allow them to also experience the honor and trust that they have what it takes to support you the same way that you've supported them when the situations arise.
Right. So good. So we want to just thank you so much for being brave, being vulnerable, and showing up as your full authentic self. That's the only way that we can grow and move forward and heal, right? And
Yeah.
so all kind of take a moment, and if you feel comfortable, we'd love to hear your answer, Katie. But let's all just take a moment and exhale and think, how has this been healthier or happier for you? What do you think?
How has this conversation?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I want to say that I am so impressed by the two of you and your insight and your perspective. I mean, it's really, and I'm not just saying that. I mean, I really mean it. Like, you guys hit things right, the nail right on the head, and you're very perceptive and very able to kind of summarize more succinctly what I've said in such a way that, yes, that makes sense. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. And you said it a lot prettier than I did. So really, I mean, I think you guys just have really got a great handle on this kind of work. And I can see why you would be successful doing it, because, you know, you're very perceptive and and you listen so well.
Thank
Well, thank you.
So I would say, in terms of how has this been for me, I would say that I certainly feel validated. I feel listened to. I feel understood. And I feel like I'm headed in the right direction. You know, like I've been encouraged by you.
Oh, love that.
Yeah.
So kind, so generous. And I just want to honor that you did great. So don't put yourself down in order to encourage us. But we are also, one of my things that I'm working on is just receiving things fully, right? And so
Yes.
I receive that. And Carli, do you receive that compliment and encouragement?
So
Yeah.
kind of you. Thank you.
Awesome. That is so, so good. We love leaving everyone with something to kind of take with us to spend the rest of this hour, to do something or sit with ourselves, whatever is healthier and happier based on this conversation. And as you're listening, trust yourself. Just like we said earlier to you, Katie, trust yourself that whatever you're supposed to hear today sinks in, and go ahead and be brave and take that little or big step with it. We do like to try to give you an idea, but before we do that, let's just, for our listener, make sure they know where to connect with us, Carli, how they could get individual or group coaching, or maybe take part of our membership, any of that stuff. How could they connect or learn more?
Yeah, so we definitely are here to work with you if this is something that interests you. If you scroll down to the bottom of the description, you'll see the links there, but you can also just go to www.healthierhappierhour.com. You can join our community there, get access to all of our programs, individual coaching, small group coaching, or join our membership, which is super fun. You can also find us on Instagram, social media, TikTok, YouTube, Healthier, Happier Hour. And we share all kinds of tips and tidbits and just education to help and support you along your journey there as well. So you can find us, send us a DM, let us know what else you want to hear or learn about on the podcast too.
Awesome. Woo woo. Thank goodness for you, Carli, because I forgot we were even on TikTok. So there we have it.
But we are.
Oh yeah, that's right. So as we end, I want us all, if it's safe to do so, let's roll our shoulders back and down and close your eyes if it's safe. Long exhale. Settle your chest and breathe through your belly. And I want you to just check in with your heart, not with your brain, but your heart. What were you supposed to hear today? What maybe are you supposed to take action on or be encouraged by? And if you were to take one inspired action, one brave step, what would it be for you in any of your relationships? What relationship, with your eyes closed, oftentimes we can see things better with our eyes closed. It can pop into our brain. What relationship would you like to deepen? Who or a group of people pops into your head? And what if you just try? Just like going to the gym and working on putting a little bit more weight on the squat rack. If that's your thing. If it's not your thing, I got lots of other exercises for you. But what area or what situation do you want to be brave and vulnerable in? What relationship do you want to deepen? Wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Blink your eyes open. Go be courageous. Conquering codependency. I like that. I need to maybe attend that. I'm with ya. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We are cheers
to you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yay, yay, yay. Awesome. Yeah.